Before we begin, do you remember what you said to me Saturday evening?
Ms. Webb, I came here to discuss the terms of the deal. Whatever happened was a personal understanding.
A personal misunderstanding. Is that what we are calling it?
Diana didn't answer. She turned her laptop slowly toward Claire. On the screen, a video. 47 million views in 72 hours. Every angle, every phone, the ballroom at the gala. Claire Ashford pouring red wine over a woman's head. The woman's face, calm and dripping. Claire's face, smiling and certain, both perfectly clear. By Sunday morning, the video wasn't just a clip. It was a societal litmus test. Every major outlet had picked it up. The headlines were brutal. Socialite humiliates businesswoman at charity event. Claire's face was on every feed in the country, but she hadn't looked at her phone since Friday night. She had been too busy expecting this contract to save her. Claire straightened her jacket. She refused to lose. She opened her leather folder and slid a revised contract across the mahogany desk. She told Diana the Ashford Group was prepared to increase the investment terms by 15%. She said this was a generous offer, well above market. She waited for Diana to look at the paper. Diana didn't even glance at it. Diana stood and walked to the floor-to-ceiling glass. The Manhattan skyline looked different from the 38th floor. She didn't decline the offer because of morals. She declined because she already owned them. Diana turned a digital tablet toward Claire, showing a live stock ticker. Ashford Group stock was plummeting. Diana told her she didn't need the investment deal. She had spent the last 48 hours buying up the Ashford Group's distressed debt. As of this morning, Diana Webb wasn't a partner. She was their primary creditor. Claire's face went white. She tried to stammer a rebuttal, claiming the company had liquidity, but Diana cut her off. She slid a second folder across the desk. It wasn't a contract, it was an audit report. Diana had traced the Ashford Group's capital back 3 years. She had found the gaps, the offshore leverage, and the structural weakness Claire's father had been desperate to hide. It was the blueprint for a hostile takeover. "You didn't come here to offer me a deal," Diana said, her voice dropping to a dangerous whisper. "You came here to bully a woman you thought was beneath you. But while you were rehearsing your arrogance, I was analyzing your assets. You aren't the hunter here, Claire. You are the prey." Claire looked at the papers, her hands trembling. She realized then that the wine pour wasn't just a social error, it was a declaration of war. Claire lunged for the folder, but Diana pulled it back. "I'm not done," Diana said. "I own 22% of the Ashford Group now, and with the stock price dropping due to your little incident, that percentage is growing by the hour. By tomorrow, I will be the largest shareholder. You don't have the leverage to offer me anything. You're lucky I haven't called the SEC." Across the city, the atmosphere in the Ashford boardroom was toxic. Charles Ashford paced the length of the table, his face flushed. The viral video was playing on the massive screen in the boardroom. The silence was deafening. Marcus Thorne, the senior board member, stood up, his face impassive. He hadn't spoken in an hour, but everyone knew his vote decided the company's future. The boardroom erupted. Other directors voiced their concerns, not about the wine, but about the stock price. They were terrified. Marcus Thorne motioned for quiet. "We have a motion to remove Claire Ashford from the board, effective immediately. All in favor?" Every hand in the room went up. Charles Ashford stared at his own hands, then slowly raised his own. "We have a motion to remove Claire Ashford from the board, effective immediately. All in favor?" Every hand in the room went up. Charles Ashford stared at his own hands, then slowly raised his own. It was Elena who had been standing there with her camera that night. It was Elena who had uploaded it. She stood still, watching the panic inside the room, feeling nothing but a cold, quiet satisfaction. Back in the office, the tension was suffocating. Claire's phone finally vibrated on the desk. It was Charles. She picked it up, expecting her father to fight for her, to tell her it was all a mistake. But as she listened, her face drained of color. She didn't speak. She didn't argue. She just looked at Diana, her world shrinking down to the tiny, cold voice on the other end of the line. "You're done," Charles said. The words were not shouted, they were heavy, final. "They voted. You're out of the company. Don't come home tonight. The lawyers will contact you." Claire dropped the phone. It clattered against the wood, a hollow, lonely sound in the cavernous office. She looked up at Diana, her eyes pleading for a mercy she hadn't shown anyone else. Claire sat very still for a long moment. She was processing the wreckage. Then she tried her last card, the only one she had left. She looked at Diana directly and told her she was sorry. She said she was genuinely sorry for what she did at the gala. It was inexcusable, and she knew that now. Her voice broke slightly on the last word. Diana studied her face for a long, quiet moment, then she spoke. She told Claire she was not sorry for what she did. She was sorry it had consequences. She said there is a difference, and the difference is everything. If nobody had filmed it, if the deal had never been at stake, Claire would have gone home Saturday and slept perfectly well. And they both knew it. Diana stood and walked to the floor-to-ceiling glass. The Manhattan skyline stretched behind her. She told Claire, the woman you poured wine on was not the problem. The problem was that you looked at a stranger and decided in 3 seconds what she was worth. That instinct did not come from nowhere, and it will not leave because you lost a contract. Claire stood. She picked up her leather folder. She didn't say another word. She walked out of the corner office and down the long corridor. She walked past the receptionist who smiled at her, the same professional smile as before. The elevator doors opened. She stepped inside. She was alone. She pushed through the heavy glass doors into the bustling New York street. The noise of the city swallowed her whole. She was small, and for the first time in her life, she was completely ordinary. She realized that the empire she thought she was inheriting was already gone, and the only thing waiting for her now was the crushing reality of what she had thrown away. Back in the office, Diana sat behind her desk. The Manhattan skyline was gold with the afternoon light. On the corner of her desk, in a small glass frame, sat a white handkerchief, folded neatly, stained red with wine. She kept it, not as anger, not as revenge, as a reminder that the way people treat you when they think you have nothing tells you everything you will ever need to know about them. Diana looked out at the city, her city, and picked up the phone. Ray, it's time to head home. She didn't look back at the office. She didn't look at the files. The chapter was closed, and for the first time in a long time, the weight on her shoulders felt light. Outside, the city moved on. Taxis honked, people walked, the stock market continued to churn. But for the Ashford group, everything had changed. The empire was changing hands, and the world, indifferent as always, didn't stop to notice. Diana looked out at the city, her city, and picked up the phone. Ray, it's time to head home. She didn't look back at the office. She didn't look at the files. The chapter was closed, and for the first time in a long time, the weight on her shoulders felt light. A final lingering shot on the empty chair where Claire had sat. The screen fades to black. The story of Webb Capital and the Ashford downfall was written into the history of the city, not in stone, but in the silence that followed. What would you have done in this situation? Let us know in the comments. And if you enjoy stories like this, hit subscribe and turn on notifications. Your support means the world to us and helps us create more stories every week. Thanks for watching.